Good morning. I know you may not have morning where you are, but that's what it is for me. It's when I have my most amount of energy. So today I'm going to cover and explain on video something that I have in my book on about in the middle, and it's called The Bathtub Theory of Health. Um, I've been to millions of workshops and classes over the years, and this was an analogy that stuck with me, and that's my intention, is that it'll help you stop and think about what's pouring into your sphere of health, your container. And so with that being said, let's get started. In the bathtub theory of health, we have a bathtub, and that represents you. You have different faucets of things pouring into your bathtub. So the idea is to stay healthy, to stay detox, to stay clean, like we want our bathtubs in our own homes. We want them usable. We want them functioning. We want them pleasant, something to relax and have better hygiene. Okay? So unfortunately, some of us are born with a defective genes, and that's kind of what this little line is around here at the bottom. It's a dotted line, and that's our epigenetics, or our DNA, that will always be in the bathtub. It'll always be in your health. You literally can't remove it by cleaning, by detoxing. It'll always be there. Now, if you let it set and stagnate, mold's going to grow on it, bacteria is going to collect, dust, flies if they go by or whatever. But the idea is that it's always there. Okay, it's like the porcelain on the tub, or the granite, or the stainless steel. It's just always there. But it affects what comes into the tub. Okay, so one of these faucets up here that pours into your tub, into your health, into your life, can be, besides your epigenetics and your DNA, environmental issues, things like EMFs, and low frequency things, mold, other chemicals, scents and smells, some cleaning products, that's huge. Allergies is a huge one for me. And as you can tell, I still have some nasal drip going on. So I'm allergic to almost every neurotoxin out there. Fluoride, carrageenan, sodium lauryl sulfate, formaldehyde, you name it. I've got huge lists, and there is some long lists in the book about neurotoxins and chemicals to avoid. And I'm not sure what page that was, so I'm not going to bother. But GMOs, also genetically modified organisms. Monsanto's famous for that. It's a cell, a seed, an organism that has been spliced to put in antibiotics, pesticides, protection, fertilizers, whatever. And then we ingest that grain. It's primarily done in wheat and corn, in our country, soybeans, and other grains. But we ingest that, and if you already are predisposed to certain antibiotics, or your digestive tract is limited and you don't have certain enzymes, let's say, then you're not going to digest that. You might for a little while, but the chemical neurotoxins will build up in your system. And so you're going to get into trouble. It's just a matter of time. Those kinds of things pouring into your health, they're going to build up. Okay. Pretty soon, the bathtub will run over. And what you need to know about the Western medical industry is that you may have had a sensitivity and your bathtub may have been only a quarter full, and you felt it because you're real sensitive. Maybe you're an empath and you can just sense things aren't right. All right. But if you go and get tested at that point, the medical community will tell you you're within their range, not your range of acceptable. Okay. So your bloodstream, your cell counts are all within an acceptable range to the medical industry in the United States. Now, what's acceptable to somebody is not acceptable to everybody. And please understand that you are an original person, authentic, different, and you're going to need to adjust most things in life if you are a sensitive person or an empath to your own scale. So even though you may have only a 25% fullness that has toxicity in it that your body is sensing, maybe you have brain fog, maybe you're starting to have rashes, maybe you're starting to get sluggish during the day. You take long walks or have to work out on a gym to kind of get yourself boosted up. Your energy doesn't just come on demand like it would normally to you. You may be having different rashes, maybe having bloating, indigestion, coughing, sore throat, earaches, runny nose. Pain in your joints is a huge one, especially for grain toxicity, neurotoxins. And there are a lot of signs and symptoms. And I have a video on YouTube about the symptoms or the signs to look for if your child has allergies. We're all children on some levels and fragile and delicate. And I think that's a good video for the list of symptoms to help you be aware of what might be going on in your body, and keeping a journal to find out when and what you're actually being affected by, triggered by. Those are wonderful things to take to your regular naturopath and have them look into it. You may have been exposed to parasites, contaminated food if you have pets, if you're out hiking and camping frequently. Those kinds of things are pouring into your health. They're pouring into your bathtub. They're going to affect everything else that's going on in there. But frequently in our health industry, we do not detect parasites because not everybody does stool samples or urine samples. And so you're not going to get a read on that. Now, the medical community, remember, only is their ranges range and measure what flowed over onto the floor. So if it hasn't flowed over and out of your bathtub, you haven't got your levels up so high that there's a spillover, the medical community will most likely, has been my experience, it's not medical advice, it's not diagnostic advice, but most likely for empaths and sensitive people will not pick up on this. Okay, they're waiting for the overflow. And if you're an empath and a sensitive person, that may be your critical point. Okay, so if you know something's going on, trust your instincts, advocate for yourself, start your detoxing, things like that, because I'm in a state of detox every day, every day. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to say about parasites is that parasites are little organisms that feed off of a host. And so if you are a person who has a lot of codependency in your life and you're dependent on other people for your livelihood, your income, getting you food, making you food, um, happiness, joy, satisfaction, your spiritual connection to a greater good than your own individual ego. If you're a person who has a lot of dependency situations or codependency things where people depend on you and you enable them or they enable you, then that's the frequency or the energy of parasites. And they're physically manifested in your life. So there may be one or two big, huge parasites in your body, but there may be a lot of little ones, like little liver flukes or something. And so doing a good detox at least every 3 months that gets rid of parasites, some black walnut, grapefruit seed extract, apple cider vinegar, things like that that actually flush them out. But when you're detoxing parasites, you need assistance, just like in psychotherapy or going to a codependency, alcohol, drug recovery situation. There's always codependency in those underlying original causes. Trauma is a trigger, huge trigger. And so when there's a weak organism, a membrane, a structure, a psychosis begins, and it allows those parasites to take hold and to build up communities in your body. And that's how it is on the outside as well as on the inside. When we have been traumatized through sexual abuse, pedophilia, cheating spouses, financial problems, other health things, it wounds our psyche, our spiritual demeanors. We are weakened. Our energy will drop. And so by being a unguarded, unprotected host against those outside elements like parasites, like heavy metals, like mold, like neurotoxins, we become susceptible and more of a pliable organism to host, to accommodate. And we think, oh, I don't have anything going on. What else do I have in my life? I'll just take care of this person. They need me. So watch yourself for that kind of behavior, because it's often indicative of you hosting internally parasites. And they can come in the form of 100 different things. You might want to look up parasites, colon parasites, the varieties on YouTube, and the videos are just atrocious. I did colon hydrotherapy for many, many years, and the parasites that we got out of people were just phenomenally bizarre. But they also had an energetic connection, a frequency connection to a codependent external relationship. Somebody else was living off of them, was dependent on them. They were enabling these parasitic relationships as well as the parasites internally to live off of them, to zap their energy, to drain them, to exhaust them. So I want to make sure that you understand that parasites in your bathtub are a big deal. And getting detox, doing colon hydrotherapy, it's a big deal. You got to eliminate, just like we assess our friends on Facebook and we nailed, we eliminate some of those friends and we get rid of them. We need to get rid of the parasites internally as well. And remember how a lot of people say, You will manifest the money when you have raised your frequency to match the frequency of the money you want, or something to that effect. So you will magnetize the love relationship you want when you have become the lover that fulfills that energy. Well, okay. Well, here's the deal. If that's a rule and it works in those situations, then it's the same rule that says I have parasites internally and I've manifested codependent relationships externally. So take a look at it. This is not diagnostic. This is educational. And it's also a spiritual dynamic, a spiritual law of the universe, as within, so without. So clean it up, raise your frequency, get your health back. You deserve that. Okay. And that kind of leads me into number 5, which is relationships. So when our relationships no longer drain us of our energy, because they've been pouring poison into our bathtub, into our health. They've been making us very acidic. They've been giving us a lower energy to operate on. We're not at our best. We're not at our happiest. I always tell women who are going through divorce, as I have many times, when you get divorced, you become empowered because your energy is no longer being sapped. Your energy is no longer being drained. And if you're thinking divorce, then there's something going on with your energy management system. And if you want the best energy possible, and this person in your life isn't feeding your energy to be positive, uplifting you, motivating you, not giving you the energy, but motivating you, inspiring you, then take a look at the acidic condition in your body that you may be operating with at all times. Cancer grows in an acidic environment. We test our saliva, we test our blood to see how acidic we are. And when we're acidic, all kinds of organisms can grow. Viruses, bacteria, parasites love acid environments. So the antidote to that is obviously more of an alkaline diet, more of a fruit and vegetables, less stressed behavior operating system, because that's really what makes you grow. That's what heals you. That's more sleep, more high alkaline water. Love on those apples. It's wonderful. So with that being said, it's a way of cleaning up your body, getting it alkalized. And there's a lot in my book, again, on alkalizing. There's a whole bunch of lists of food in there on how to alkalize yourself. But it's also a dynamic of your relationship with God, your relationship with your highest energy. And to me, the word love is synonymous with God. I grew up in a very fundamental Christian and Jewish background, and so God was this external, patriarchal ideology outside of me, and I had to be dependent on it someplace. I had to be a good girl to get that love. Well, that's a big setup for a whole lot of toxic behavior, toxic thinking, toxic habits, toxic relationships, abuse, self-abuse. Okay. So when I woke up through mindfulness, through meditation, through awareness, then I got it and it changed. It changed almost overnight. So with that being said, waking up to love yourself as you would someone you admire. Okay. Love yourself. Respect yourself like you are all of that in a bag of chips, girlfriend, or whatever. But do it. It's the best. Okay. Don't wait on some man to give it to you or for you to get that raise at work or for you to get rid of the cancer. You got to do it today. Today. You got to cook yourself a gourmet meal, honey. You got to take yourself for a walk. You got to put on the best skincare in the world. And if you need some of that, let me know. I've got $30,000 worth of Eminence Organics, the #1 organic skincare line in the world that is a professional grade product. That's what I carry because I love myself and I deserve the very best. So I've surrounded myself with that. And I promote a lot of young women who are opening up their medical spas, their holistic medical spas. We get trained with that and they use that. And it's just the most fabulous thing to be loved and to know that you are giving yourself the best of the best of the best. That is love like God loves us. That energy, that divine intelligence energy in the universe, you need to clean up your relationship with that. It needs to not be acidic. It needs to be alkalized. You need to be in the flow of that. Cancer cells can't grow in an alkaline condition. I used to tell my colonic students many, many years ago that to get rid of cancer, it takes 3 things. 1, you have to get rid of your resentment. 2, you have to get rid of your parasites. And 3, you have to alkalize. Now, this is not a prescription. This is not medical advice. But ironically, ha ha ha, it worked. I made a fabulous career out of helping people with cancer clean up their lives and their relationships with their higher power, the great spirit, God, whatever, love. And it's about bringing that juice that's available to us on the highest frequency inside and loving it and feeling it, and dancing in it and moving in it. Okay, and that one leads right into number 6, which is nutrition. I have the title in my book at the very end. It's called High Frequency Nutrition. And if you're not eating high frequency nutrition, then honey, you're not being the best you can be. You're not channeling ascended masters. Not like you should be. Could be. Maybe want to be. High frequency nutrition. Organic, fresh, raw, delicious, mindful. Sit there and enjoy that peach. My favorite thing is organic peaches, I think. Or maybe organic apples. I don't know. I love them all. I love nuts. I love, what is my other vegetable? I love Italian green beans. Oh my God. My grandma used to put a pinch of sugar on them, the old-fashioned Southern way. Oh my gosh. Nowadays, if I want something like that, I put a little stevia on it, little organic stevia. And I just go back to grandma's cooking in the kitchen. Because those memories, they come back. They're full of love. And you tap into it. You activate it within yourself. And it's divine. It's absolutely divine. So my book has a lot of recipes. It has places to go to shop or brand names to buy. Things that are gluten-free and dairy-free and generally grain-free because I'm highly allergic to corn. That's why my hair is short now. When I had COVID and then I got pneumonia and then I had a low iron because of all that stuff and I was all alone for a month. I had nobody to rely on, absolutely nothing and no one. And a couple conversations and texts with a friend who was also having challenges at the same time. I did not eat quite like I should have. I didn't eat anything toxic because I didn't go anywhere, but and I don't allow anything toxic in my home. I keep my environment very safe, very pure. And I had a lot of green tea. I had a lot of toast sometimes and my rice crackers sometimes, and my iron dropped. But that was kind of the only fallout that I'm still dealing with, is getting my energy back and getting going. But while I was going through that, it was to me like a purification process because I could let go of all of the things. I reread the David Hawkins book, The Path of Surrender, Letting Go. And fabulous, fabulous book. Very motivational. Absolutely perfect timing that I did that while I was going through COVID. And a lot of the absolute deepest truth about who I am and what I'm doing on planet Earth came back to me. And I could start animating that. And this video is one of those things. So our relationships with God, with food, with our families, with our spouses, with our pets, with our home. Your home should look like a castle to you, or it should make you feel like you're safe, you're protected, you can rest, you can rejuvenate yourself. Okay? If you don't have something beautiful in your home and full of makes you feel loved, get rid of it. It's not for you. You got a new life coming. All right. Anyway, high frequency, more alkaline, organic, something you love, love, love. And bless your food. Put some love in that food. Make it the best food you've ever eaten. Number 7 is pharmaceuticals. When pharmaceuticals pour in to our health, to our bathtub, to our container of our beingness, all of our chakras, all of our energy bodies, our mental body, our physical body, our emotional body, our spiritual body, our financial body. When pharmaceuticals pour into us as a whole container, this bathtub that we are, we can be so poisoned. We can lose our energy. We can lose our lives. We can lose our health. And so really knowing what you're taking, when you're taking it, how you're taking it, what's in it. I found out years ago that one of the high blood pressure pills that I was prescribed before I had my heart surgery was that it had fillers of corn in it, cornstarch. I was like, oh, no wonder, no wonder I can't get rid of all these sores in my head. So with that being said, I had already cut it down. I had seen some improvements, but there was just that little bit I couldn't get quite rid of. And I finally tracked it down to that one little bitty tiny pill that I was on my way off of. And then after I had the surgery, I had a scar tissue from a Takisaboto incident that happened to me. Takisaboto is grief, shock, and it freezes your heart, which builds up pressure. And I damaged a valve. And so they went in and fixed that real quickly for me. And I was home the next day, and my life got incredibly better ever since. And I'm able to even love more. So it was great. But it was weird seeing the inside of my heart. That was trippy. So with all that being said, your drugs, even your supplements that you take, I still have my Thorn account, my Magenics, quite a few others. my Nature's Way, my Mega Factors, for salmon oils and things like that. I still have my accounts for those products, and I order mine obviously at wholesale, save myself some money because that's what I live on. This is a vitamin C with flavonoids in it. I make sure that what I order does not have cornstarch, is gluten free, does not have shellfish in it because I have a highly reactive system to shrimp. So there's a lot of things I have to go in and look at. But if you're just buying something off the shelf at Walmart or the drugstore, you don't know all that. You need to go and research that. Because if there's something in there that you are allergic to, like I was with corn, and that's just an example, that's not giving you medical advice, but it's giving you and advocating for you to look deeper if this kind of stuff is still going on for you. Look deeper at it. And so when I started getting rid of all sources of corn and cornstarch out of my supplements and my herbs and my teas, and then that little bitty tiny particle of blood pressure medicine, man, my health came back. My energy came back. My mental clarity came back. I felt like I wasn't just full of love, I was connected to divine love. And that's what health is all about. That's operating with a clean bathtub. That's operating with the ability, the power, the strength, the tenacity, and the genius to get through anything in life, no matter what's in the bathtub, what's poured through. And it helps you to deal with that underlying DNA, that genetic stuff. Epigenetics is the inheritance of the thoughts, the behaviors, the conditions of 7 generations. Some people call it the genetic curse, the ancestral curse, the family curse, whatever it is. My mother was sexually abused when she was young, so a pedophile. And then I had that, and then my daughter has that, and my granddaughter had it. It had to be my granddaughter before I woke up and realized this is the genetic curse. We've all inherited this. And then being able to start working backwards and backwards and backwards. Well, in the case of my mother, I gave up hope. And in this lifetime, she's not going to get it. But her behavior has been such that she protects the pedophile because it would rock who she is at a deepest level. And so with that being said, I can wake up. I can start being proactive. I can start understanding and healing that familiar, that's my key word, the familiar genetic pattern of attracting pedophile, sexually abusive men who want to just fuck me, okay? That kind of behavior doesn't need to be in my environment anymore. It happened many years ago. I don't put up with it no more. Scoot. I got things to do and places to go and people that love me. They don't use me. They don't manipulate me. They don't stab me in the back or hurt me and send me to the hospital. Okay? Life isn't like that. But it's a long road to healing that. Unfortunately, it can be generations. So look at that behavior. Look at those patterns. And if you see that you're in relationships with the same familiar type of people, take a look at what I just talked about. See if that works for you. I'm available for coaching. I'm available for conversations. The website that we're operating now, we have 2 up and active. And then I have the art website for when I teach art, the Holy Chic Iconic installation art. I do all kinds of things, folks. And, it's just the genius energy, high creative energy has got to come through me. So if you need help with any of those kinds of things in healing, I just call it holistic healing if you need support. My numbers are out there. My Zoom is available. There's links for consultations on the Asclepius-spa.com website. You can go to that and it can help you. Um, I'd love to be of assistance to help you to help you upgrade yourself. Um, Number 8 on this bathtub theory of health is good hygiene. So if you don't clean your bathtub, you're going to have contamination. You're going to have some filth and waste reabsorbed into your body. So hygiene, self-care, brush your teeth, take your showers, wash your hair, get your teeth clean, go to the dentist. There's all kinds of wonderful things you can do that are just about physical body maintenance. Wearing good clothes. This is my Karl Lagerfeld shirt. I love this shirt. It makes me feel so happy. Okay, but I got to keep it clean. I got to keep it starched and, all of that. So, your environment that you live in, it needs to be dusted. The floors need to be mopped. The dishes need to be done, not piled up in the sink. Pick up your bed every day, make your bed, set your refrigerator with no rotten food in it. Okay, it's all about upkeep. It's all about protecting your environment. If you're a person who has issues with EMFs and electricity, and sometimes I have to have lights on, but they really zap my energy. And so I've started doing a thing where I can go more solar, more, especially in my outside in my yard during the summer. Everything is solar powered. And I now have the connections to be able to sell solar systems for people who want to change over, save money on their electric bills, kind of divorce the electric power company, the matrix there, get out of that monopoly and raise the price of their house, but also cut that electric bill, because electric bills are just going up and up and up and up and up. And one of the resentments and one of the things that I was so mad about is that I had to keep paying a bigger electric bill every month. I just hated it. I just hated it. It really irritated me severely. And so I went on a crusade to find companies that were really good with electricity and cutting solar. And sometimes, if you live in a city, you can't get completely off. And sometimes you don't have a big enough roof square space for the solar system that you want. Sometimes you do, and then you can buy a bigger system and sell the rest back to the electric company and start making money. I have a friend who called me the other day and he says, yeah, my neighbor just told me they had over $20,000 that they made last year from the electric company of their energy that they sold back. And I was like, all right, so that's the kind of news I want to hear. I'm getting ready to build out my property. I've had some land up by Taos, New Mexico for a long time, and solar is definitely going to be what we do up there. So with that being said, check your environment for mold, leaks, foundation problems, pest, termites, cockroaches. They're everywhere now, everywhere. But solar, and if you need help with that and understanding that, just give me a call, give me an email. All I need to evaluate you is your electric bill, the first page of your electric bill. And it helps to have more history. So like a year's worth of electric bills or several of them, so that we can evaluate if where you live is worth going solar, hopefully, because you'll be healthier and you'll save money. But some places that doesn't work. Okay, so send it in to me, let me evaluate it, and I have a management team that can get with the electric company, and then we can do a site inspection and actually look at the roof lines. And we're in 30 states, so you know, let me know. I'm sure I can help you. I can help anybody all over the United States now in those 30 states. So with that being said, um, get with me. I'll be glad to help you with that. So number 9 is a big one. So if you've got addictions, okay, addictions pouring into your health, into your bathtub, then, you know, bad habits, and some of it may be from your culture. You know, you go to a Greek wedding, you're drinking. You're drinking. Okay. Well, that's kind of hard if you're alcoholic. You go to certain family gatherings, like over Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you're a gluten-free person. Well, you go and you look at what they've, you know, asked served, and you think everybody hates you because nobody brought anything for you except the carrot sticks and the celery sticks and maybe the olives. I can't tell you how many years I lived through that. And nobody gets it. They think it's a fad. It's not a fad when your stomach is out to here and you're in pain crying. That's not a fad. It's poisoning from what they put in our grain. And it built up in my bathtub till it overflowed and I could no longer eat gluten, wheat, corn, some of the others. But since I was a month old, I haven't been able to have dairy. You know, I was orphaned at a month old, left in the house. The neighbors called the police because they heard this crying baby, and they recognized me and took me to be with my grandparents. And, you know, God bless my grandparents. They tried to feed me, and they lived on a farm with cows, so I got cow's milk. Well, first anaphylactic shock at a month old. So I've been dealing with allergies. I think I've taken on that karma or dharma or you know, samshara for a long time. And I've taken on some other karmic situations as well. But allergies, food, getting this low grade garbage out of our lives and really enjoying and eating and up leveling to a higher frequency of food that actually nourishes us and helps us to think better, feel better, connect better, you know, animate better, experience our lives better. I think that was my goal all along. I mean, a month old, come on. I didn't have no intellect, no ego attached to that. But I've had a long, almost 70 years of history in the food allergy world. Not that I prescribe anything, not that I'm diagnosing you, but if it's a challenge for you, talk to your doctor, talk to your allergist, your immunologist, and, you know, buy my book. It's on Amazon, right? Buy my book on Amazon. There's packed full of information in there. And I think it's on Kindle as well. I like this one because it has been updated. And lots of helpful hints in there on how to advocate for yourself, because nobody is going to, if you go home to Thanksgiving in a traditional Christian American family, Honey, they got gravy. They got stuffing. They got corn. They got buns. I mean, why do they hate me so much? And that's what I always thought. Why do they hate me so much? What did I do to them? So, with that being said, one of the other things about addictions that I want to address is sometimes, like in my situation, when I came in at a month old and started having anaphylactic shock from dairy and other things along the time. I had one from shrimp in 1988 and different times in my life I've had that situation. Well, sometimes there's a carryover from a past life or the epigenetics that are in your bathtub. Your great grandmother may have had the same thing. Okay. Your great 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 grandmother may have also died from dairy or whatever. And you may be picking up on that one genetic code right now. So with that being said, one of the techniques that I like using with my clients and with myself that was very, very helpful was past life regression work. It isn't all that in a bag of chips by itself, but when you synergize it with a whole transformational change that you're making in your life, you know, where I had to know, needed to know, because I got that addiction. I need to know my answers. That's my addiction. I did past life and I found a lot of answers. And what those answers or ideas of solutions did is it helped me to unhook. And it's the unhooking that has the value. So past life is one of them. Listening to other people's stories is another. Imagining yourself without this problem or imagining why you would be having this problem. When you're doing with past life regression, it's like watching a video of a movie or something that tells a story about why this would have happened to you. One time I did past life regression and found out I was doing it on a specific person. I wanted to know if I'd had a connection with him in the past. And the next thing I noticed was I was in this place down by the docks and fishermen were coming in and out. There was this one little old fat, bald, dumpy looking guy, not that good looking at all. And he was kind of over there and I had been injured. I had been hurt, wounded, and wasn't able to move very well. And he came over to try to help me to get up and he started molesting me. And that led to hard abuse and violence and pain. And someone else came out of the background toward me and recognized who I was. I was someone in that community, in that country. And they said, "Oh, let us help you. We'll take you home. We know where you live." And so that's what happened. Well, when I told my husband about the situation, he had the man castrated. And I think that possibly that relationship energetically transpired out of revenge. But he needed it. He needed it. And, you know, there's some hard realities that I've had to accept in life. Sometimes when people are suicidal, there's a hard place for that. There's a hard call. There's a hard love. I can't make that call. I can't make that judgment. But I do see how sometimes the castration is better for other people and for that person because to live with the need to screw people over or to violently hurt them, or you don't have any other place for your anger but to shoot it out your penis, that must be a really heavy, dark, morbid place for a person to live. And if castration or that type of behavior, type of procedure helps mentally alleviate and soul alleviate, and that may be that person's karma, we do not know. I can see where that might be the highest good, but I don't know. And I am not going to stand in the line of judgment on that one. It's not for me. It's not for me. The last one that we're going to talk about is detox. And I've touched on that frequently through this video, which is almost an hour now. Anyway, I used to work with Dr. Bernard Jensen, who was a chiropractor originally, but he specialized. He did iridology, studied the eyes. He did colon hydrotherapy, and he did it where we could help ourselves at home with the Kalima boards over the toilet, buckets of water coming in to the rectum, and rinsing out. It was a lavage, rinsing out, and then the fecal matter goes into the toilet, and you can just flush it with your toes, is what I did. And in my book, I think I have some pictures of myself doing colonics on the Kalima board. I'm still an instructor, so if you want to learn how to do that for yourself and to help your family, because detox may be something that you have to do if you have the MTHFR defective chromosome. Detox may be an ongoing and worthwhile avenue for you to learn, and it may save your life. When I had my breast implants rupture, I did a lot of colonics, a lot. I was very, very sick. And because they were saline, everybody said, oh, don't worry about it. It's just saline. Your body will absorb it. Well, in theory, that might be fine. This is the colon. This is me laying down and over the toilet. And then you put a chair here. You lay your board down. You get on it. I cover up. And then I always put subliminal music on, high frequency hertz music, so that I can kind of, when you create a vacuum, nature abhors a vacuum, and it'll attract something into that magnetically. So I put in my programs that I want. So my love programs, my peace programs, my abundance programs, I'll put those in. And I rerun myself on those energies. So with that being said, I can teach you how to do the colon hydrotherapy in your own home. We sell the systems. We have it hooked up on eBay. There's all kinds of music that you can add to it. There's procedures, there's techniques. I've been teaching that class for $3,500. You get a 100-hour credit and you get a certificate for, I want to say 40 years. I honestly, it goes back to the 80s or before the 80s, actually. My grandmother died in 79, and so it was just shortly after that, so probably 1980, 1981, I started doing that. And I'm good. I'm probably the oldest living one of his students that's still teaching, that's still out there showing people how to live healthy lives and clean up their parasites, the plaque that accumulates on their gut. Because if you're eating a lot of grains and genetically modified food, your body does not eliminate all of it. Your bathtub cannot clean out that fast. This is the drain. Most drains are a 2-inch drain, but if you have MTHFR like I did, 2 copies, then you really only have like a 1/4-inch drain, metaphorically. You don't eliminate like normal people. You're always in a state, you'd have to clean this bathtub every day. And so for a long time, when I was studying with Dr. Jensen, I did a lot of colonics just to get to a baseline, just to get all of the plaque out of my body, my arteries, clean up my blood, and be able to function again. And so when I did that, and then my breast implants ruptured, and I had all that saline spilling into my system, and I got very, very sick. First instinctive thing I did to myself was I started doing my colonics again in rapid succession, like a lot. I think I did like 90 colonics in 90 days to maintain. And by the time I had them removed and figured out what to do, I had 5 or 6 doctors tell me, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it because it's working. And I've had hundreds of clients over the years. Some of my cancer clients, my burn victim clients, my addiction clients trying to get off the pills so they can get skin grafted, because you can't heal if you're taking narcotics or chemicals. So you got to get off of that stuff so you can clean up and so you can start the healing process. And I mean, hundreds of them have told me the same thing. Their doctors don't understand it. They don't know what it means because they didn't study it. That's not their specialty. They don't know about it. It hasn't happened to them or someone they know. And that's the case with a whole lot of things, with allergies, being a detective, finding out where the corn is, in my life anyway. And you have to advocate for yourself. You have to. You have to find the answers that ring true for you. They're not going to always be realizations that are solutions. But if you have a coach like myself, then you're going to be okay. We'll get you through it, because some of us don't give up. By the time I had my surgery done for removing all that implants and stuff, when they opened me up, they found nothing but black mold in there, aspergillus. So there are reasons you have things down here on the floor that you can't pick up. But if we can help eliminate and clean up some of this stuff in the bathtub, and there's multitude of ways to do that. You can't just sit there in your chair and think it. You can't just pray and think it. You have to get into action. That means making good choices at the grocery store, knowing how to read a label, getting rid of the relationships that are draining your energy. Start doing the things that pull your energy up. Getting detoxed. Looking at your genetic patterns. Figuring out what and who you can show up for and if it's worth it to your life. For me, it was also about getting in alignment with my purpose. I'm looking at a painting that I did a few years ago of my soul coming to earth, incarnating in this lifetime, and what choices I made to decide that it was worth it here. I have to go back to that painting a lot. I have to look at it a lot, because sometimes that's how tough life is. When I had COVID and I was alone for a month, my daughter lives a parking lot away. She didn't care. She didn't care. She didn't check on me. She didn't bring me food. Nothing. This mom, not manipulatable anymore. Not fuck-withable anymore. Okay? So it might be a lonely place, but you know what you can do with the lonely? You can help someone else who wants to grow, who needs to grow, who can grow. And shine your light, shed your love. You know, I got almost 70 years. I'm going back through all of my books and my journals since junior high. Oh my God, the stuff that I did, and I've already forgot about 90% of it. So, with that being said, I love you dearly. So, stop poisoning yourself, making better choices, improving your frequency, and letting go of everything that doesn't bring you love, orgasms, and high energy. Get that frequency up there and go to Amazon, get the book. It'll help. Give me a call. I'll put my number and my email down below this, and I'm happy to help. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye-bye.